All right, so LinkedIn Live isn't available to everybody. So we're both going Instagram.
All right.
And this is my friend Adam, Jimmy FX.
All right.
Hey, Jimmy. What's up, Jimmy?
We're both gonna fit on the feed or no?
No, we'll both just have our individuals. Oh, look at that.
You good this?
Yeah, look at that.
Boom.
We're both in it.
We're both in it.
And just me is on mine.
What's up, everyone? Here. I'm here with Mike, good friend of mine, fellow Rhode Island entrepreneur, and we're gonna have a little conversation and help promote his company and talk a little bit about what we're doing at Pangea, and also some of the really cool things that are happening in the Rhode Island entrepreneurial ecosystem this week. So Mike, how's your day been going? You good?
Day is great. So just to reiterate here, got my buddy Adam here. Adam started a company called Pangea and basically connects college students with project work. And so anyway, we're getting together here to answer some questions. So if you guys have any questions about being a business owner, what we do, any kind of thing like that. My background is wedding video, wedding photography. I also have a video production business, so we do a lot of commercials for companies, marketing, stuff like that. So fire your questions away.
Yeah.
I think you have a question or two to start us off.
Yeah. So Mike, you started this company a couple years ago, and it's crazy to say I've been in Rhode Island now for 6 years.
Yeah.
A quarter of my life.
That's great.
So I certainly have my opinions. But as someone who moved to the city 2 years ago, I'm curious what your thoughts have been on Providence. I'm sure a lot of people here have never been to Rhode Island, never been to Providence, and I'm curious what your thoughts are.
So so just like Adam said, I just moved to Providence, a little over a year ago, but I've been in Cumberland before that, so not far. I love it. It's a lot. It's funny. A lot of people ask me like, "Why Rhode Island?" And I had no reason to come here at first, and then just found a good location and just decided to come here. So I was like, "All right, let's do it." And so I've like I said, I've only been here about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and it's been great so far. I just love like the vibe. It's like such a good city. It's just like there's so much to do for such a small city, and I think it doesn't get the credit it deserves. People are like, oh, Boston's better, whatever. You can decide, but I think there's so much to do, and it's pretty challenging to get bored here. So yeah, I love it. I'll be here for a long time.
Yeah, and with this view too. Come on, check it out.
The city behind us. Cheers for squeaking.
Freshest office in town.
That's right.
That's great, man. So I'm curious, I encounter my own challenges when I run my business.
Mm-hmm.
Every day is very difficult.
Yeah.
And, marketplaces have their own unique share of challenges.
Yep.
But I have the benefit of not having like clients banging on my door every single day because they want their wedding video.
Yeah.
So I'm curious some of the challenges that you face in your day-to-day in your business, and maybe some words of wisdom you have for the world.
Yeah, sure. So one fun thing about weddings is, the kind of cliche saying is like you get to capture like memories of a lifetime for people, right? Weddings are the best day in their life, supposed to be, and so that can be like amazing for people, and there's some people who have the best time with it and love every second, and they're always positive. And then there's the people who I think put a lot of pressure on their wedding day, and it needs to be perfect. So if little minor things don't go right, they, the word bridezilla gets thrown around sometimes, and it's not always fun. And it's the struggles, right? You got to take every challenge with a grain of salt, and just kind of like keep moving and realize that there's bigger problems, and also that having some empathy of like, this is their most important day. They want it to be like super special. So I can understand that the cake guy screwed up, and the cake is 2 tiers instead of 3, or the cupcakes didn't arrive.
God forbid.
Whatever it may be. But as far as like my end, the video, it can be challenging. Deadlines. If somebody doesn't get their video like right on the day, Sometimes people don't like that. I personally always hit deadlines, but I've heard a lot of stories of people who don't, and then people don't get their wedding videos for months or a year, and that's not fun to hear about. But there's a lot of challenges, you know, people maybe didn't get the shot they wanted, and there's so many factors that you can't control on a wedding day, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of ventured off here. What was the original question? Like,
you know, what are some of the lessons you've learned and the challenges you face? And I think that what I'm hearing from you is providing a really great user experience is critical to any business.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's Uber or a place like Pangea or, you know, a film agency.
Yeah.
You know, and no matter who your customer is or who your user is, it's important to treat that person with reverence and with all the respect in the world that you can really give. And I think it's a challenge.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And particularly when you're one small piece of a much larger cog.
Yeah.
I think it's easy for people to kind of pick on you or like take it out on you and like, hey, the cupcakes didn't arrive, and that's not your fault.
Right.
But that kind of ruins their vibe. And
exactly.
That can really just cause them to be really negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to remind myself of that. Like whenever I get a little like negative emotion from someone or someone's like snapped for whatever reason in any context in life, it's like you never know what's going on in that person's world or what's going on in that day that might make them feel that type of way. And it's important to understand that, be empathetic, and not kind of snap back at them.
Right. Because you always have to, like, anytime we get, like, whether it's myself with a wedding client or whether it's Mike and I at Focus Forward Media, like, no matter what happens, if a client is upset, my first thing is step back, take a breath. I will never like spit back with the same venom that I get. It's just, I can't. I've just learned it's not worth it. Knock on wood, I've never had an experience where I snapped back and had anything happen, but it's not the way I want to go, and it's like, being the bigger person is it's something I was taught since like day one, since I came out of the womb, and thank God my mom taught me that, because it's something that I think has really helped in situations where we've had we've had situations where clients were unhappy for certain reasons. Maybe the video didn't come out the way they wanted, or maybe the process isn't going the way they wanted, or we're not bending to the way they want things to go. And sometimes, things can get aggressive, and you just have to like maintain the composure and just really calmly explain, hey, look, here's our process, here's what we're doing, here's the ways we can fix it, rather than just being like, hey, we screwed up, but like, you're being a jerk, like, screw you. Like, that's just not the way to go about it, and that's definitely something that's helped me.
Yeah, and I think it's hard for us as well. Like, I'll deal with people who are upset for any number of reasons, and just to be that sponge sometimes, and like let them just kind of say whatever they want to say, and then find a way forward is really critical.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what led you to actually start the business, and what was that initial kind of moment for you? I mean, there's a lot of different paths and different careers I feel that people can take, but to start something out of nothing takes a lot of guts and chutzpah, as we say.
Yeah.
So why did you start Focus Forward Media?
So it's funny. I remember actually 2 years ago, almost to this day, 2 years ago, I was at my mom's cousin's 50th anniversary party. It was on the water in Quincy, and I was on the back porch talking to one of my uncles. And I don't know why this sticks in my mind, but I can't forget this part. Is so I've been a freelancer for almost 6 years, probably 4 or 5, 6. I started doing stuff in college, photo, video, and then as soon as I got out of college, I had built up enough clients to just work myself and have enough money to live, and so I just kept doing that. And I'm sort of the type, if you ask any of my friends, my girlfriend, Mike, my business partner, I get bored very easy. So like some things I do are like I change up my desk setup like more often than I should. I get a new desk.
Mike has a really good desk setup. Follow on Instagram. It's like most feng shui, clean, got the G-Tech.
Yeah.
Hard drive. I have like 3 of those at home.
Yeah.
Doing video stuff.
So I'm always changing things around. And my uncle asked me, he goes, how's work going? What are your plans for the future? And I had this thought, and I said, I've been wrapping I'm trying to wrap my brain around the concept of like what I'm going to do. and I couldn't decide whether I wanted to keep freelancing and have the freedom to travel and do my own thing and just be solo. And I said the other alternative is I want to like start a company with like roots and like build something, you know, have a team that is under me. I said obviously that'll stick me to somewhere, but I said that's the other route I want to go, and so I can't really decide which way I want to go. And then like 3 months later, not even, I met my business partner and we were working together through a marketing agency, and we just decided that, you know, the way the agency was going, we were like, this isn't the way we want to keep operating. So we decided we could do it better, and we said, hey, let's start our own company. And so that's kind of what happened. And then all of a sudden it just kind of happened without really like being conscious of like what the decision was. I wasn't like, all right, we're gonna start this company. It's kind of just like, you know, just happened. And it's been great. We had an office in Providence here last year, and then we had to get a bigger space, and so now we're in Pawtucket. Hopefully we'll make our way down here, or you know, somewhere out there, or maybe in here, who knows. But yeah, so that's what happened, and a little over a year and a half in. So far, so good.
That's great. So speaking of office spaces, you know, we're doing this live from the newest, most awesome, beautiful office in Providence, which is the new CIC in the Western Innovation Center. This is the backdrop for where we are right now. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Superman building.
We're in this super cool space that's like all brand new and everything, and there's got to be, you know, 300 seats in this building available. So I'm curious, you know, having shown you around the building and showing you some of the spaces, like, what are your thoughts on the space and what it means for Providence?
Dude, I'm gonna try to like put some money together and just move in here for no reason. I mean, I joked with you on while we were walking around, I'm just gonna start a company so I can put an office in here. I mean, this place is amazing. There's drinks everywhere. I just had probably the best coffee I've ever had. It was a French vanilla with a shot of espresso.
It's good. It's good.
I'm fired up now. I'm just fueled and ready to go for the rest of the night. Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's just got such a cool vibe. There's so many different kinds of spaces. There's co-working, there's private offices, a mix of both in one. I think, you know, like I said to you, I think this really elevates Providence, I feel like, and makes it step up from what it used to be, or what it has been. Gives Providence a little bit of credibility that it deserves. But I love it. What about you? What are your first thoughts from this week? You've been in here a couple days now.
Yeah, so we moved into the new CIC space this past week, moved on Monday as part of the Mass Challenge Accelerator program.
Yeah.
And it's been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's been a really incredible week, and just I feel so motivated and energized, and I've been here to midnight basically every single day of the week.
That's amazing.
And I don't feel burnt out. I just feel like when I come here in the morning, I'm excited to get out of bed, I'm excited to come check it out.
Yeah.
It's bright, it's energizing, there's other entrepreneurs in this space. The amenities are phenomenal, and it feels so incredible to be a part of a development that's been so many years in the making, and that really provides this platform for this entrepreneurial ecosystem that's been forming and arising here in Rhode Island since I've you know, made landfall here and since we've met. So it's exciting to be a part of, and I feel that, you know, as a local entrepreneur, to be provided access to a space like this, of this caliber, of this just velocity here in Rhode Island, it's like I have an obligation to be here, to show up, to tell my friends about it, and to, you know, be that, like, Rhode Island has this hope. It's always had this hope. It's part of the motto. I was
going to say, the logo of Providence
says hope
in it.
And I think right now there is this newfound hope here in Rhode Island of creating a real entrepreneurial ecosystem that attracts people from around the world, from around the United States, from around Rhode Island, to bring it together in the new type of like experiment, a new type of mixing pot to help, you know, people innovate and follow their dreams, just like you did. You know, wanting to start your own company and doing that ultimately here in Rhode Island, and just like me, coming out of Brown and deciding to start a company here. There's nowhere else to do it but Rhode Island. I would never move to New York to do it, or Boston, or I would love to move to Germany. I mean, Laura's now on the feed.
My friend Joe here is from New York.
So. Really? I mean, I love New York. I'm from New York.
We love New York, okay?
And Germany's pretty cool too. But just it was so natural for us to start this company here, and to now have 300 seats in CIC, which is one of the top of the line co-working space in the world. it's really cool to be part of that. And it's been an incredible week, and I'm looking forward to filling out the space and doing my part to ensure that this entire ventures project, this mission is a success.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. For anybody who just joined, Austin and Joe, I see you guys here. We're answering questions here. My buddy Adam is here. He started a company called Pangea. It's an app that connects college students with companies looking for work. Ask us some questions, anything you want. I'm here. You guys know me. You know what my background is, so ask us some questions, all right? We got some other questions here. What else do you have for me? Actually, I have one for you. What do you think, from your time in starting a business and running a business so far, what do you think has been your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge in starting a business and running Pangea. Oof, that's a tough one.
I'm sure there's a lot,
I think it's
not an easy
finding,
job.
There's so many different ways to spend your time. There's building a team, there's building a pitch deck, there's getting customers, and in Pangea there's two sides of the marketplace. There are students that we have to get excited and get onboarded and listen to and build product for. There are companies that we have to listen to and get excited and build product for. We have to build a product that brings them together at the right time in the right ways, and that's really complicated. Just to think about that experience and then also execute on it, have the right team members and to build it. And I'm grateful to have an incredible team around me. With my co-founder John and Kristen and Andrew and Scott, who are helping build that product and share the message. But it's a time management challenge in my opinion. I wish I could spend all day just talking with companies, hitting up students, and driving connections, which we made more than 700 already. But that's a really time-consuming process.
It is.
And if I just do that all day, then we're not really thinking about the business model. We're not thinking about how we're going to scale out to a larger market. We're not thinking about how we're going to raise money and to make this whole thing sustainable. We're not executing on strategic partnerships like getting the Mess Challenge, which has gotten us into the space today. And there's this kind of seesaw of like the job of the CEO is to build a business, it's to fundraise. And there's like two kinds of CEOs, the kinds that are great at building businesses and the kinds that are great at being fundraising. And I'm trying to straddle the seesaw and do both. Because, at the end of the day, to build a marketplace, it's going to take a long time to become break even. So we have to fundraise a little bit, but every day I spend fundraising is a day that I don't spend building the business. And delivering a great user experience. And for me right now, the next 6 weeks are building business. Getting more students, getting more companies, driving more connections, getting some more validation, because that's what the investors really want. So the idea is finding out that right sequence of where am I going to spend my time, how long am I going to do a certain type of thing, and then when do I pivot and transition to that next thing. And having that plan and strategy for how you spend your time and devote your energy is a certain unique challenge. And then when you think about just all of that, and then you contextualize it with, well then how am I going to spend time with my friends? And how am I going to make time with my family or my girlfriends? How am I going to make time to make sure that my roommates and I have a good relationship, and that our rent is paid, and utilities are paid, and I come home when the dishes are done, and the trash is taken out on time. And how do I, there's all these, and how do I make sure that I'm okay? How do I make sure that I'm getting my sleep, that I'm eating well, and I'm doing what I need I'm doing what I need to be doing to feel optimal. So it's a unique challenge, and a lot of it comes down to time, because that's my most limited, most valuable resource as an entrepreneur. So there's certain things that I don't compromise on. I don't compromise on sleep. I don't subscribe to, I think we differ on this, but I don't subscribe to the whole, you get 4 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep, this, that, or the other, because I don't function. I'm the kind of person.
I don't try to.
I know you don't try to, it just happens. I see your Instagram, brother. You're up to 4 or 5 a.m. editing videos because you love it. I get it. And you also have deadlines.
Sometimes I can get good sleep. Sometimes. Especially on the weekends. Weekends I crash hard. If I can. If there's no weddings on a weekend, ask Monica. I will sleep. We'll go to bed at midnight. I'll wake up at 10 or 11, maybe even noon.
That's okay, good. You need it. But for me, I have bedtime. 10:30, I'm in bed. 7:30, I'm up, and that gives me my 9 hours, which for some people seems like a ridiculous amount of time, but it means I don't get tired.
It's too much
during the day.
It's too much sleeping.
Maybe I should adapt to 7.5
You're
or
making
6.
things happen.
But if I get less than that amount of sleep, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I lose all
get that crash.
I crash. 2, 3, 4, and I'm just not optimal. I'm not getting shit done. And I'd rather be moving at 120% all day. And that means that I'm fucking knocked out in La La Land for 30% a day. That's what it means. So things like that. But I think that's the biggest challenge in I face in Pangea is there are I had a dream once.
Okay.
Where I was
You're like Martin Luther King over here.
I was like in the middle of the United States. I was like in Chicago. I had just finished some event, and I was like in my car, and I was at this like split in the interstate.
Okay.
And like there was one road that went to Boston, and one that went to New York, and one that went to Providence, one that went to Colorado, one that went to LA.
Yeah.
And there was like the struggle of like, where do I go?
Yeah.
And where do I choose to spend time driving to?
Yeah.
And there, like each of those places represented a different thing in the dream. Ultimately, I ended up in Providence because that's where Pangea was, and that's where my life was.
Okay.
I wanted to get back to things.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's so many distractions and so many different places you can go at any point in time.
Right.
It's like picking which of those things to drive towards.
Sure.
Is always a challenge.
Yeah.
Because all those destinations are constantly moving, and the world around you is constantly moving as well.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like it. So my friend here, Austin.
Yeah.
Actually, we met him really quickly at the coffee shop.
Yes.
So Austin here says, "Give me the scoop on Pangea."
Give me the scoop on Pangea. All right, Austin, this is
a little breakdown.
All right, I got a little breakdown. There's a crisis in this country. So nearly 50% of companies in the United States face a talent shortage, and yet we have 40% of the skilled labor force that's supposed to be filling those jobs, recent university graduates, unable to find jobs when they graduate. So you have this tremendous underemployment rate of recent college graduates, and you have this tremendous over demand for talent and undersupply to match it, and it's going to result in $1.7 trillion in lost GDP over the next decade in the United States alone.
That's a lot of numbers and a lot of words.
Mm-hmm. It's how we lose out to other countries around the state, around the world. So there's this talent gap, so we're focused on helping solve that talent pipeline, which we see as being broken, in a way that creates more equal access to economic opportunity.
Okay.
Because how so much of that hiring is done today, it's like who you happen to know, or where you happen to go to school, or what your GPA is.
Yeah.
And it leaves out everyone who doesn't go to grade school, or doesn't go to school, or doesn't have a GPA, or doesn't come from a place of privilege, like Westchester, New York, who has a network. Right? I'll call myself on it, right?
Yeah.
So we've devised a system that helps current undergraduates access more types of opportunities, namely project-based work. So good example, like I need a pitch deck designed, or I need a website built, or I need someone to do some market research for me.
Yeah.
You can post those types of projects to Pangea. A talented student will then message you through the platform. You talk, you figure out terms. You then pay that student through the system, and then you give the student a rating and review. So the idea is that over time, the students on Pangea build out a really incredible track record of all these gigs and opportunities, where every single gig is backed by a set of these validated ratings and reviews. And that's what basically allows us to make this fundamental transition from a talent pipeline that's basically built upon like a stack of resumes, like Yellow Pages, and move more towards a hiring system that's like Yelp, where it's more equal and it's based upon this crowd-based rating system that creates more equal access to opportunity and ultimately better outcomes for companies. So that way we can fill this talent gap to make sure that we don't leave $1.7 trillion of potential productivity on the table.
We don't want that.
Yeah, so that's the scoop on Pangea. We've got an app on the App Store. We're live on iOS and Android. We got about 24 companies on the products. We've onboarded over 1,000 students across 50 universities. Everything from MIT to Brown to Community College of Rhode Island. We had a sign up today from University of Michigan.
So you don't just work with like college students that are in Rhode Island?
No,
anywhere.
There's 12 schools in Rhode Island, which makes it a great place to start.
There's a lot, but
we have organic expansion to more than 50 schools so far.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah. So now, what's the process of? I actually don't know this at all. What is the process of like working with a new school like that doesn't? Like, how does that go about? Like,
so here's the thing. So traditionally, companies have worked with the schools and the career centers to get access to talent. But at Pangea, we don't think that you should have to go through a middleman to access this talent. In fact, it's one of the reasons why projects are hard to get to student bodies, because you have to have the career services approve things, and every school's a bit different, and it's really inefficient to post projects to student body. In addition, so many students on campus today grew up in the world post-recession. They're all Gen Z. One key defining factor of Gen Z is they're very independent. They like to do things for themselves. They don't trust institutions. So we've devised a system that totally disintermediates the university.
Yeah.
Because we now have the ability to go on campus and just get students to sign up and have students tell their friends about us. And what it allows us to do is create a much more efficient system, a peer-to-peer system like direct-to-consumer, that allows companies to post their projects directly to students without having to have this gatekeeper of the university.
Gotcha.
And it gives more opportunities to students. It gives more access to talent to more types of companies. And ideally, it's just faster and more efficient. And so much of technology today has been an opportunity to disrupt current systems. Okay. And hiring is one of those things that really hasn't changed all that much
about that.
ever.
It's interesting. Yeah. We just talked about that last week or week before. Yeah. Sports journalism. That's his thing.
Sports journalism.
Specifically, I knew he's a writer.
Okay.
Yeah, sports journalism.
Lance, follow me on Instagram and we can talk, and I can see if I can find you some opportunities.
He is.
I'm gonna put my handle.
Put his
Adam out. Yeah.
Right there. Go follow him. Lance.
Yeah, and then DM me, and we can find time for a chat.
Just say you're Lance Reynolds. So that's my buddy. Did you ever meet my? No, you didn't meet my friend Marty. Oh, you did meet Marty.
Did you meet Marty?
Yeah, you met Marty on my birthday.
Yeah,
artist,
that was a good time.
Crazy hair.
Mike had a great birthday.
Yeah. So Marty, that's Marty's brother.
Oh, right on.
So Marty, I've been best friends with Marty for like 10 years. So I've known Lance for same
amount of time.
Yeah.
I hope he's better at throwing axes than you.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to Austin. All right.
What up,
Lance? Ask us some questions. What do you got in here? Who's in here?
A couple friends. Nick just joined. He's an incredible entrepreneur from Bryant University, doing some really cool things.
Very cool.
They built this company called GeoProtein, which is a really cool protein bar that has more active ingredients and is really healthy. And amazing branding as well. They're doing some really cool shit.
So, all right, I got another question. When you first of all, what made you come to Brown? And then in Brown, like, what was kind of like the idea that sparked like Pangea? I'm going to start a company and I'm going to start Pangea.
So similar background to you, and I think that's why we always connected.
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, and I see Steph Fleegman was in here a second ago, who went to high school with me, I was a videographer.
Yeah.
So I loved making videos. I was like the video dude in my high school. I did everything for every class, for the school's fundraiser, for all the sports teams.
Yeah.
I was the president of the filmmaking club, and I loved taking things into my own hands and just making stuff. So I knew that I would get a lot more experience by like doing stuff on set and finding more projects. So I didn't want to go to a film school. So what really attracted me to Brown was the fact that there's something called the open curriculum.
Okay.
And I was not going to be forced into any particular courses.
Okay.
But I would be able to experiment with a whole bunch of different types of academic courses, and I just wanted to learn. I knew that what would make a great filmmaker was not necessarily great technical chops, but was great context and great understanding of the world.
Sure.
So I thought Brown would be a great way to do it. I started off as what's called an MCM concentrator, which is Modern Culture and Media.
I remember
which is more like film theory than film production.
Yeah.
And on paper, I thought I would love it. I thought I would love, learning the theory behind film and learning the context behind film. But I didn't. I hated it. I hated sitting in a class talking theory and talking culture. I loved being on set. I loved making stuff with my good friend Christian DeSantis, who was my partner in crime back in middle school and high school.
Cool.
Living out in Denver now.
Filming.
Hi.
Is there anything in there?
Should be empty.
Yeah. We made videos together all through middle school and high school, and I wanted to find more of those opportunities when I got to college.
Yeah.
So I took every single production course at Brown in the first semester, basically, and I was looking for more projects around campus. And so much as you know, freelancing is like it's all network based. It's all who do you happen to know, and it's hard when you don't have like that much of a network to find those opportunities, and it's like you feel like you have no agency. You just feel like you just take whatever you can get.
Yeah.
And whenever someone happens to throw something your way, it's like, I gotta do it. And I was looking for a way to flip it and to start advertising my skills as a filmmaker, and start helping people find me, getting some more inbound stuff, and just having a little more agency over what project I chose to do.
Okay.
So that led to our first company, which was called Pangea Mart, which was a system through which students could offer services around campus.
Oh, okay.
And it was that which my co-founder John and I started when we graduated.
Yep. And
we did that for a year and a half before ultimately pivoting into what we do now.
Yep.
Because our biggest problem in building that first marketplace to help support student freelancers and students who wanted to build their own companies was actually building the team, was actually finding the talent to help us do design, do development, do the marketing.
Yeah.
As an early stage startup, if you're smart, you look at college talent because they're affordable, they're scrappy, they're enthusiastic.
Yeah.
So we ended up leveraging the several hundred students we had onboarded in that first company called Pangea Mart to come on as interns.
Yeah.
And that's how we built our talent base. And then a light bulb went off in our head, and we said, that's actually where the real value is.
Yeah.
You know, and helping connect companies outside the campus to that underutilized asset.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we were living in this moment where you saw Uber and Airbnb exploding because they unlocked some underutilized asset.
Yeah.
Uber, that was empty seats in cars, Airbnb, that was guest rooms, and they created trust around the delivery and the fungibility of that asset. So we saw an opportunity to leverage this like gig economy that we created on campus in a way that actually helped address this much larger problem, which was talent pipelines. We got a question.
Yeah, we got a couple here too.
From Nick.
Wait, really quick. So Joe, this is Adam. Adam started Pangea. That's who he is. Friend of mine here, fellow Rhode Island. And Lance, what exactly is Pangea? So
is it a job board?
Job board.
Yeah. So we're not
simplified.
We're looking to be more than a job board.
Yeah.
So a job board is like Web 2.0, where
Right.
it's going to be like a flat database of every single opportunity. It's kind of like Yellow Page. You just kind of flip through. And
Joe heard you on the podcast.
You heard? Oh, we're on.
Cool. So Joe was a fellow. He was another guest on the podcast.
Lovely. Well, it's good to meet you.
A couple episodes after you, I believe.
I've been listening, so I probably heard him.
Yeah.
So the goal is to actually transcend being just a job board and create some depth in these engagements. So a job board, you like find an opportunity and then you're gone. But with Pangea, the idea is that you're going to accrue ratings and reviews through the system. We also help you get paid.
Which I think is huge.
And then that helps us find the next gig, and the next gig, and the next gig. So we have this system that actually helps you build credibility and a reputation in a way that a normal job board doesn't.
Yeah.
So the idea is that we can leverage this macro trends towards this contract work, like with Upwork or TaskRabbit, things like that, to fundamentally disrupt how recruiting platforms like Indeed or ZipRecruiter or even LinkedIn, how they function by unlocking this new treasure trove of data through these projects.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Joe also wants to know, are you in Boston yet? I need them.
Yes, we have students at Harvard. We just placed someone from MIT yesterday. We just partnered with Babson and Northeastern to launch that. And my sister's a junior at Harvard, so she's going to be helping us get off the ground there this coming semester.
Cool.
I just onboarded every single intern at the Mass Challenge program.
Oh, there you go.
So we have a bunch of students from Babson and Northeastern and actually around the country. So we're going to be expanding into Boston more aggressively, but we do have some exposure already in Boston from a talent perspective. And then we're now developing a partnership with the Mass Challenge Accelerator, which we're currently a part of, to roll out Pangea to all the other fellow members of our cohort who are looking for interns and affordable freelancers that are on campus.
Sure. What are you looking for, Joe? Let us know.
So while I get an answer on that,
you can email him. I'll put your email here.
Yeah, please. So Nick says he appreciates the kind words about his company. For those of you who just joined us, Nick is an entrepreneur in Bryant, doing some really cool stuff. What is my greatest strength, and how do I apply this to my endeavors? I can talk about anything with passion. So I tell you that's my greatest strength. So every single day, I'm talking to students, to companies, to strategic partners, to advisors, to investors. And I'm like the chief networking officer. So I think my ability just to talk from the hip and get to know people and kind of lay into my extroverted side is one of my greater strengths.
Yeah.
And that complements me, I think, greatly in the role that I'm in at Pangea.
Yeah.
So I'd say also finding a way just to connect with people and finding a way just to find commonality very quickly is maybe what you can work on if you're thinking about how am I going to actually relate to a student or relate to a company or whoever your constituents are and whatever you're building. Like find a way to find a commonality, whether that's where you're from or where you go to school or what your interests are or something. And that's a really good way to build trust.
Yeah.
Also, generally show interest in what other people are doing. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So my greatest weakness is that I tend to talk a lot. So it kind of goes the same way. So while I can speak about things with passion and enthusiasm, it's also very important for me to take time to listen and engage people that I'm talking with. I try not to talk to anyone. I try to talk with people.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, it's funny that you say that that's like your biggest strength because it actually helps you because we met and I think we clicked so well, and it was funny at one of my parties you were at. All my friends were like, "Oh wow, this is like a no-brainer that you guys get along because I can also talk a lot." And just from the several times that we've spent some time together, Mike and I decided we needed some graphics people for some work, and at first, really quickly, we were like, "All right, let's post a thing on Facebook looking for a graphics person." And I think within a couple hours, I was like, let's just go to Adam. So it definitely helps. So Joe also says, I need to get my MailChimp WordPress plugin squared away. Is that something they can do?
100%. That's a great thing for on-demand college talent. Yeah, I have some kids who know MailChimp and WordPress. It's just like, great thing for a technically savvy college-age person to work on.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No other questions yet. It's people saying hello, and I had a bill go through, which is good. Word. I look forward to talking with you. So anyway, we are at the CIC, and every single Thursday they do these things called Venture Cafe, which means there's an open bar downstairs right now.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other people. So, Mike.
Let's head down there.
Want to grab a drink?
Yeah. All right, let's see. Any last minute questions? Give people 30 seconds.
I'll give them 30 seconds, and I'll give you a little tour of the office.
Yeah, let's do it.